This is Hemant.
And Jessica.
And you're listening to the Friendly Atheist Podcast. Please go to patreon.com/Friendly Atheist Podcast to support this show. Get your ad-free and bonus episodes. We even have a different camera set up today, so we look closer to the cameras.
So much closer and not blurry. I've learned so much about doing video production in the last week. It looks better. I'm excited. We have chyrons. What a time to be alive, Hemant.
Very true. And you're going to Washington. What's going on with that?
Yep. In February, I'm going to be at Snoqualmie Brewery on the 21st. That's a Saturday at 7 o'clock. There's a Twin Peaks trivia event going on upstairs.
As one does.
I shan't participate because I don't need to sandbag people on their vacation. So yeah, if you're in the area, I have some friends coming in from Walla Walla from my old Montana days who I haven't seen since 2009. I'm really excited.
Very nice. So if you're interested, all the details are on our Facebook page. You can go there for that.
And Discord as well.
And Discord. All right, let's start this week with the story I'm so excited to tell you about because I don't know how much of this you have heard. So there's a church in upstate, I think it's upstate California, Bethel Church, and they
say Northern California.
Whatever it is, major hub of charismatic Christianity, faith healing, raising the dead, trusting prophets.
Sure.
And the trick is anyone gets to call themselves prophets as long as they're convincing enough.
Are they Mormon offshoots? Because they love to declare themselves prophets.
Excuse me, we are talking real Christians here. And the church is big enough that they have an affiliated school, as a lot of these mega churches do. Theirs is the Bethel School of Supernatural Ministry, which gets made fun of for the obvious reason, which is that it sounds like Hogwarts. And it very much is.
Oh, good.
These are all
cloaks.
These are places
sorting
where
hats.
Years ago,
paintings
I saw TikToks or whatever version of that existed, where people would be praying worship session inside of an auditorium, and like glitter would be falling from the sky, and they're like, God is sprinkling gold dust on us, and it's like, no, that's just glitter from the rafters
that you put there.
It's not God gold.
Oh, yeah, that's weird. Because every performance of the Nutcracker, God put fake snow on the stage. Every single performance.
So that's Bethel. That's what we're talking about. And the thing is, it is a mega church. The question is, how influential are they? And the answer is, okay, the church and their beliefs may not be as widespread as more... I mean, less conservative is the wrong word.
Yeah.
But like more mainstream Protestant evangelical beliefs. No, they're not as big as that. However... their music, because they have a music offshoot, because it's a mega church, and Bethel music is huge to the point where if you go to a mainstream Protestant evangelical mega church and they're singing like modern-ish songs before a service, there's a good chance they're singing some Bethel songs in there because it's like a random music label that is popular in the Christian world. That is Bethel Church.
I love this for them. So it's like a production studio?
Very much so. And that's the way they spread their message wide and far.
Oh, boy.
It's like our music is what sells us to everybody. It's like the Shen Yun of the charismatic Christian world.
It truly must be like... somebody who founded that church was like a wannabe musician, and it's just a vanity project that got out of control.
Pretty much. So that's the church we are talking about here. And the thing is, people like us will make fun of the God gold stuff. And it's like, you can't actually raise anyone from the dead.
Right.
If you think you are raising people from the dead, you are sorely mistaken.
Sure.
But who cares what we say about that? The question is what believers say about all that. And that is what took a major hit this like about a week or two ago when another conservative Christian, I'll call him a Bible teacher online, a guy who's basically, I do an online ministry where I talk about God and the Bible.
Okay.
But he's not a church, like he doesn't run a church. He runs, I think, he runs his online
like a
ministry.
Facebook page.
It's like a conservative theologian who my way of getting information out is on YouTube. Fine. His name is Mike Winger. I am not supporting Mike Winger. Mike Winger has a lot of beliefs I disagree with. He has platformed people I find abhorrent. Like, okay, Mike Winger, I'm not praising this dude.
Mike Winger's the bad guy. We get it, Hemant.
Okay, Mike Winger put out a video on YouTube. It's about 6 hours long Like one of those, have you seen those? I'm just a creator on YouTube and I made a 4-hour documentary.
Yeah,
they're like
100%.
super compelling 100% of the time. Because it's like you went down
Line has some good ones. Yeah.
You went down a rabbit hole and I love this for all of us. Mike Winger put out one of those. It's about 6 hours long. Started watching it.
Yeah.
Could not stop watching it. And basically what he's saying is he is not a member of Bethel. He is not a fan of Bethel. He finds them to be false Christians in a sense.
Is he local to them though?
I don't even think so. He has almost 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
Wow.
So he's super popular in that world.
And they just caught his ire for whatever reason?
I mean, I'm sure people who spread the gospel the wrong way he gets messages about them all the time, like blast these people. Okay, fine. So among the things he's pointing out is, I just said Bethel is big on prophecy. So if someone says, I'm a prophet, meaning I've talked to God directly, you can listen to what I say about God. One of the guys who was boosted by Bethel was a guy named Sean Bowles. Random dude. He's the prophet. He's so compelling to watch when he's on stage. He has a direct line to God. And I've heard the guy's name. I've never actually seen him give a speech, do a sermon of any sort, because why would I?
Right.
But he is a prophet who has not only been platformed by Bethel many, many years over, their leader, Bethel's leader, a guy named Bill Johnson, has actively said, this guy's the real deal. Like, all right, you got to listen to this dude. Even as of like a year or two ago, Sean Bowles came out with a book. Bill Johnson's going on like Christian media circuits and like, this book, it's the real deal. Okay, Bill Johnson loves this guy. So Sean Bowles, very much boosted by the Bethel ecosystem, right?
Okay.
So one of the things that's pointed out in this 6-hour video is, if you listen to what Sean Bowles is doing, and for listeners of this podcast, you're going to understand what I'm saying in a second. And I had not seen this before, but this is not, I want to be clear, Mike Winger did not discover this. People have been posting about this stuff for a couple of years,
okay,
but they have smaller channels. So like no one really, it didn't break out of their ecosystem.
Sure.
Basically, Sean Bowles will say something like, God is talking to me, and is there a Jessica? Is there a Jessica in the audience? Jessica,
that's me.
Is there someone in your life named Dottie?
My dog.
Jessica, God is telling me that God wants you to keep doing the thing you're doing. And by the way, I know you're dating somebody. God wants you to be with that person forever and take that mission trip you've been thinking about. And the thing is, what I had not seen, I've seen that sort of theatric.
This is
on stage
Peter
before.
Popoff coded.
Right. And the people in the audience, when they pan to those people, they're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
How does God know all this about me? How does Sean know all this stuff about me? I've never met this guy in my life. But like, he doesn't just do the psychic on TV trick where it's like, is there someone in the audience with a J
with
name?
A J name? A J or a K or an M?
He's giving specifics about your life that there's no way Sean would know. He doesn't know me. And the thing is, after he says God wants you to keep doing the thing, that doesn't sound like a sinister thing. But there have been stories where Sean told some woman playing that same trick, whoever you're seeing right now, go marry that guy. He's the one. And it turns out to be a really horrifically bad relationship. And Sean is saying, no, stay with that guy. That's what God wants. So they stay in these abusive relationships.
Sure.
Because God told the woman that she should stay on this track. That's where things go off the rails. But in this video,
I mean, I think they're already off the rails of these people clearly doing hot readings for their parishioners.
So here's the thing Mike pointed out, which he admitted in the video. I did not find this stuff. This is stuff I'm compiling and presenting to you with all credit where it's due. But there was evidence. It's like, how would Sean have known Jessica has a dog named Dottie or something? It's like, well, it turns out all of those prophecies really spiked up in 2013 after Facebook let you start searching for that stuff online really easily. Of course. The smoking gun, he has a lot of examples of this. He's like, here's what Sean says about this rando person in the audience. Here's what I found about that rando person before the event took place.
Wow.
And it matches up perfectly. But the big smoking gun was, hey, Jessica in the audience who I've never met before, God is telling me you live at like 1234 Main Street. Is that correct?
Oh my God.
And the lady in the audience says, that's not my address. And he's like, oh, Oh, that's interesting. Maybe I'm just getting confused here. Do you have a dog named Dottie? All right, we're back on track.
Yeah.
Where would he have gotten that wrong information from? Well, it turns out if you look up someone whose first name is Jessica and whose last name looks like yours, but maybe is spelled a little differently, but is or maybe has the same name but isn't you, if you have a somewhat common name, if you search it online, there is a page that says, hey, there's a Jessica who lives in Chicago. Here's her address, 1234 Main Street. And they just assumed, well, we're talking about the same person. And the smoking gun that was pointed out in this video was there is someone else who does live at that address, and it's someone with a nearly identical name to the woman he was doing a hot reading of.
Also,
whatever.
Don't dox people. How about that?
I mean,
don't give out their address.
He's very much giving out their addresses.
That's insane.
But it's like, oh, your team totally Googled this person beforehand. We know you're making this all up. And the thing is, yeah, that's a psychic trick. We've seen it on TV. We've seen those fake people do it all the time.
Can I have a minute to just, if people aren't familiar with what the different kinds of readings are? So if you're unfamiliar, if you've ever been to see a psychic or seen those things on TV, there's 3 kind of steps that they might do. One is called a cold reading. That is, they don't know anything about you beforehand. You just come into their storefront and they, look at you and make assumptions based on that and
Jess,
do the
are you
Barnum
liberal?
do the Barnum questions of like, oh, are you kind of quiet at first, but then you really warm up after
Do you
a while?
like to have fun? Do you like the indoors, but sometimes like going outdoors
Do you
too?
like hanging out with your friends, but also sometimes being alone? Yeah, exactly. So that's like the cold reading Barnum statements. Hot readings on the other end of it. And this is famously Peter Popoff got
getting information through his earpiece.
Doing this. They do it really well on An Honest Liar, one of the great documentaries of the last 20 years. He had an earwig in, and his wife was like in the background, like backstage, just reading shit off. This is in the 70s, 80s.
I think they filled it out on a card, and she's just reading
what
off
it is.
Bob's cards.
They would write prayer cards and be like, "Oh, Jess is here because, she's got a scab on her face and can't get it off." And he's like, "Jessica, do you have a scab on your face?"
God is talking to me.
I thought of, and famously, James Randi went in and basically found the same radio frequency that they were broadcasting on.
Beautiful.
And it's can you hear me, Petey? If not, you're in trouble. Like, it just lives in my head forever. So and honestly, I kind of get, when they write on the cards, that seems to kind of give the game away. But like, I get why people were impressed by like hot readings before, because it takes some effort to do a hot reading.
And the thing about
But now it's like, I can Google you and find out where you are in this moment.
Right. And there are one of the videos that was not the smoking gun one was just, hey, Bob Smith, are you out in the audience? And a guy's like, oh my God, that is me. And it was very much God is telling me that you should go on that mission trip that you've been thinking about, that you should do that. And the guy's face is just like, I'm getting a personal message from
God.
He is so damn happy.
Oh, sweet
and
boy.
it's like, okay, I mean, I get why this is powerful.
Of course.
But I get how this could be used to really make people do exactly what you want them to do. It's disturbing stuff.
Yeah,
so
it's fucked up. It's fucked up to lie to people's faces and call it God talking to you. That's fucked up.
And the big thing in Mike Winger's video is he's like, yeah, okay, so this is proof. We have proof that Sean Bowles is not talking to God. He's just getting this from Facebook, Google, what have you.
LOL that we need this proof.
More importantly, there is evidence, and they have text messages and emails to back up that leaders at Bethel knew all this in advance and continued to prop up Sean. So that's one of the big takeaways from this 6-hour documentary. Another takeaway is that Sean Bowles, when he's going on ministry trips, conferences, he's just Louis C.K.ing himself all through
just jerking off in front of strangers?
Stuff like that. It's sexual misconduct.
Oh, sure.
Where it's just like, why are you walking around naked? Why is your dick out? Stuff like that. Where it's, why? Why are we doing this?
Nobody ever wants to see your dick. Almost ever.
There's another part where there's like a rich couple that donates money to one of these groups, and there's an internal battle where all these prophets are like, hey, rich couple, God talked to me and wants you to move to my area and come to my church where you can give tithes to my church.
Oh my God, they're playing people chess.
And you could hear the conversations between all these people fighting over. Oh, it's beautiful. So anyway, this video comes out.
Wow.
And initially, after the 6-hour video is released, like the next day or less than 24 hours after it comes out, one of the leaders at Bethel basically gives a scheduled sermon, and he doesn't really address the video.
Okay.
But he kind of says, people are going to come after us and you got to ignore that shit.
Sure, get out ahead.
I'm paraphrasing, but it has basically reached a point where they can't ignore it anymore. Even people inside the bubble have either heard about this or seen it now. And so more recently...
That's a bell you cannot unring.
Yeah, Bethel has now come out with a statement saying, listen, we screwed up some stuff. Prophecy's still true, but Sean, bad apple, clearly. I mean, they're throwing it's doing the Trump thing right now, like Minneapolis.
Throw somebody under the bus.
Throw some people under the bus and try to save the entire system.
Go quiet for a little bit, try to stay out of the public eye, and then come back and people hopefully will forget.
On my YouTube channel, Friendly Atheist, I had a chance to talk to Promise Beckland, who is a former worship leader at Bethel, who now does her own podcast.
Her name is Promise?
Her name is Promise. She's great.
Boy, that's very Christian.
But she talks about atheism now on various shows on YouTube and things like that. She has a firsthand, this is the environment in which she was raised. And she was able to fill me in on a lot more of the background details that might not be obvious to people who don't know Bethel very well. But if any of you are interested, watch that video if you want to see what Promise has to say. But watch Mike's video. I don't say that very often because, like I said, I'm not a fan of the stuff he says.
Sure.
He has a lot of issues, which people on YouTube, by the way, under the Promise video, they're like, don't promote Mike. I'm like, I'm not trying to.
Listen, I think it's... I think it's important to recognize good work when you see it and reward that. I don't know.
There's a lot of times we've talked about stories on this site where we have referenced the Roy's Report, which is a Christian media outlet, which does really good investigative reporting and also is basically run under conservative Christian beliefs. So they will not use the right name for trans people. It's like, okay, I have my issues with you, but the investigation is solid.
Yeah, it's that's tricky. That is a tricky line.
Let me give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this episode because I'm thrilled to announce that we do have a sponsor for this show. It's a group I've relied on for many years, the Pew Research Center. And the thing they do that I love very much as a guy who enjoys religion and stats and math is their religious landscape study, which Pew has been conducting for nearly 20 years. With responses from over 35,000 Americans across all 50 states, the Religious Landscape Study is a comprehensive look at the faith, beliefs, and identity in our lives and our country. It is the single largest survey Pew Research Center conducts, aiming to provide authoritative information on the size and characteristics of U.S. religious groups, because guess what? The U.S. Census Bureau does not collect that information. On the Religious Landscape Studies interactive website, you can find survey data by metro area, state, or region, or for the whole United States. You can also explore the social and political views and demographic traits of U.S. religious groups. Fascinating stuff to sift through. Pew Research Center conducts high-quality research to inform the public, journalists, and leaders about the issues, attitudes, and trends shaping our world. Studying trends in U.S. religion is a key part of the center's longstanding research agenda. If you want to learn more about the Religious Landscape Study and dive into the data yourself, visit pewresearch.org/RLS. And with that, let me turn to a different story in Arizona. This is kind of breaking. I haven't seen this mentioned in many places, but
I feel like we haven't been down to Arizona in a while.
I know. So over a decade ago, this is like 2014, the Supreme Court ruled on a case, Grease v. Galloway, and that was a case where they ruled 5-4 that local governments can have invocations at their meetings. And the question was, well, what if it's like a super sectarian, hardcore Christian prayer? Supreme Court said that's fine, and the assumption was, as long as the prayers are not limited to one religious group, there's no discrimination taking place. No
you
one
mean
is,
the people giving the prayers are not limited to one
as
group,
long as
I
no
see.
one's coerced into participating, you can have invocations. And since that time, what we've seen happen is some places still don't do them. Mm-hmm. They're called the responsible places. Other county, city council boards, whatever, they'll have invocations, but they'll maybe say first come, first serve. If you want to deliver an invocation, you can sign up this way.
Sure.
If there's a lot of people who sign up, we'll do a lottery or something.
Mm-hmm.
But like they have ways of circulating it. So we've also had stories where Satanists give an invocation, humanists give an invocation. I have given invocations. So, I mean, if you're going to have invocations at all, yeah, you want them to be
representative of the population.
Right. So that's Greiff v. Galloway. But the thing about that ruling is it talks specifically about local government meetings. It does not apply to school boards. And the reason that distinction is made is because at school board meetings, you are talking about children. There may be children present at the meeting. Mm-hmm. They may be honored or recognized for something they just did. And so that's a very different ballgame than a city council meeting. So school board meetings cannot have invocations. They have not said, the Supreme Court has not said that's okay.
Right.
So anytime you hear, and we talked about a story not that long ago in Chino, California, where their school board very much tried to push Christian invocations at meetings for years. They
very
got
blatantly.
sued. They lost. Yeah. They lost over and over again. They've tried to resurrect the case now, but they've lost a lot of money fighting this thing because the courts still say you can't have invocations at school board meetings. And now Republicans in Arizona are trying to say, screw that. Let's try it anyway. There is a House Bill 2110 that was written. Here's the entire crux of the new bill. Sponsored by a Republican, obviously. I'm going to paraphrase, but on request from any member of a governing body of a public school or public educational institution in this state, the governing body shall allow the member to pray during a meeting of the governing body, which says in English, if a school board member wants to pray during a meeting, you got to let them.
Yeah, but prayer is not the same thing as an invocation. You
if they
can
want to
sit
do
quietly and pray whenever you want, which is the thing I feel like Christians forget, that you can just kind of always be praying, always be.
No, if they want to have their invocation, they can do it.
But the verbiage of that, am I wrong that that's not like clear? That's not what that says?
I think they want to make it as broad as possible. So if they want to do an invocation at the beginning of every meeting and a board member says, I want to do that, they could point to this and say, see, a law passed. I'm allowed to do it, even though federal law does not allow that.
All right.
In any case, this bill's sponsor is State Representative Teresa Martinez. And one of the things she said when she was introducing the bill last week is that the only reason school boards are not allowed to have invocations is why?
Because atheists run the government?
Close.
Oh.
She said school boards are predominantly one-party rule. Basically implying, well, they're run by Democrats. That's why they're not allowed. Which
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, she said the only place that we are not allowed to pray statewide uniformly is a school board. And that is because school boards are predominantly one-party rule.
Also, and maybe it's just the stories we cover, so there's some bias, but a lot of them are run by Republicans.
Yeah. You know why book bans are a story in the country? Because of conservative-run school boards. So, like, what are you talking about? Wow. And also, that's not even close to being right.
That took a really long walk to get to her point, and it does not hold water even at all.
This is the bill she wants to pass. And so they were in the House Education Committee, and they said, all right, Representative Martinez, come up and tell us about your bill and why you want us to approve it to go to the next chamber. First step in the process.
Sure.
So she explains all that. She's like, we got to let people pray, right?
Yeah.
She said, we pray in the House. We pray in the Senate. We pray in Washington, D.C. We pray in city council meetings. We pray in county meetings, but not the school board. And it's like, yeah, I just explained why all of those things are very different from school boards.
And also, so fucking what?
Yeah.
Like, that's truly, boy, oh boy, if I could say one word to, or one sentence to almost any of these people. So fucking what, dude?
So
fucking what?
So then came question and answer time, because that's why she's there. She's introducing her bill,
it's like
and
a
then
town
the
hall.
committee,
Got it.
ask questions. It's like a 12-member committee. But one of the questions came from a Democrat who's great, whose name is Stephanie Simicek. And here's the beginning of her question. And she's very polite, I should say. She's a better person than us. Here's her question.
It's not saying a lot.
Why is it not possible for people to just, I serve on the school board, to say the prayer like to themselves? And why does it have to be this display of something? And then she goes on for a while, like basically implying, can't you do it in the car before you start? Can't you do it silently in your head?
Yeah.
To which Martinez does not really have an answer to that. But this is what she responds with. I will quote her. I'm going to say that goes to uniformity. Why must we do the land acknowledgement? Why can't we just simply say that in our mind? We're going to acknowledge the land. Yet, it is pushed upon many school board members to do the land acknowledgement. Why do we feel the need to do that? Why do we feel the need to do the prayer? Why do we feel the need to do the pledge? Why can't we just privately say that to ourselves? I pledge allegiance.
Oh my God, I love when they find the point all on their own.
I know.
I love it.
Like,
so we agree.
I'll tell you what, if you want to do land acknowledgement silently and the pledge goes down with it,
fine.
Okay.
Fucking take it.
She also said,
this is like sending Bill Clinton down with this ship. Like, I don't give a shit. Take it all.
Oh no, the Epstein files are going to get Clinton. Oh no.
Fuck him.
What am I going to do with all my hats and paraphernalia?
My huge Clinton flag that I have hanging off my car.
She also said in her response, in many communities, Hispanic communities, they are very Catholic and they love God. If you don't love God, you don't have to pray. You can walk out. You can sit quietly. You don't have to be there. But if you love God and you look at the Constitution, I think that that's appropriate.
What the fuck did you just say out loud?
So she's still ignoring the bigger issue, which is children cannot be expected to just walk out and not pray. They will go along with what the adults are doing. That's why prayers are a problem at school board meetings.
Is she just pointing out that Hispanic people tend to be Catholic?
Like her community. She's like, we love God. Yeah, fine. Go ahead.
Is she Hispanic?
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Martinez didn't give it away.
Listen, I don't listen to you all the time.
But she was basically saying there are school boards in our state with a lot of Hispanic school board members. What are they supposed to do? And it's like the job they were elected to do. I don't know.
White people do?
Yeah. But again, let's suppose like this bill were to pass. Let's suppose Christian prayers were permitted at meetings. Wouldn't that open the door to non-Christians saying, I would like to give an invocation, and won't that rub all of you the wrong way? Well, guess what? A different Democrat on that committee, State Representative Nancy Gutierrez, she raised that exact point.
Also Hispanic. That one I clocked.
Also Hispanic. There you go. Here's what she said. What if, let's say, it's not a Catholic prayer? Let's say it's a Muslim prayer or a Satanist prayer. What then?
Indeed.
To which Martinez says, and I am quoting here, prayer is prayer. Someone wants to do a Catholic prayer, beautiful. Someone wants to do a Baptist prayer, that's fine too. Somebody wants to do a Muslim prayer, that's fine too. Now, the devil worshiping, okay. Okay, not my cup of tea. That's just not who I am about. And if I'm not mistaken, and listen to this one.
Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, we had a senator 2 sessions ago, maybe 2 years ago, who decided to bring the satanic body, the satanic worshipers, to the Senate and acknowledge them. Thank them for being here. Thank them for their good work. And you know what? And you know what? He was allowed to do it. And then you know what? His voters sent him a message and he did not return.
Okay, now you tell me the headed version of that story.
I'll tell you what happened there. But she's basically saying, okay, if you want devils to be allowed to worship, which
you'll get voted
obviously
out.
Is not what Satanists are doing that we're talking about here. She's saying, all right, they can, she said, if a school board member wants to stand on the dais and do a satanic prayer, that's fine. Which is a thing you say when you're like, that ain't going to happen.
Exactly.
You got to be on the school board first to do these prayers in her mind. which is the right answer, but also you could tell she's like, I'm doing this because Christians are going to dominate this.
It's because that's not a real concern for her.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? That's not a realistic thing that's going to happen. So that like, a Muslim person's going to come into her Arizona. That's in her brain. Like she's playing the odds.
If 1% of the prayers are non-Christian ones, I'll deal with it if it means all the rest of them can be. So I was like, what story are you talking about? Here's the story she's referring to. In February of 2024, there was a state senator, Juan Mendez, who was openly atheist, and there was a blatantly unconstitutional bill being considered that would have banned certain displays on public grounds, specifically just satanic ones. Basically, because on Christmas time...
Didn't they do this in Iowa, too?
Oh, they did it everywhere. But like over winter holidays, people wanted to put up a nativity scene, and then Satanists were like, well, we have a display we'd like to put up too, and we're going through all the motions.
Right.
So they tried passing a bill to ban just satanic displays. It would have been blatantly unconstitutional. Well, as that bill was being debated, Juan Mendez was like, I'm paraphrasing here, he's like, today in the chambers, we have some representatives from the Satanic Temple here, and I just want to give them a shout out for the work they do. Anyway, this bill is insane and don't pass it. Guess what? That bill failed because it had to, because it was unconstitutional.
Well,
but not before Republicans expressed all kinds of outrage about how a Democratic lawmaker was welcoming those evil, evil Satanists.
So embarrassed.
Even though they reject belief in an actual Satan. In any case,
but those are the correct
story
details.
She's referring to is he was term limited from running again for the state Senate. Wait. It's okay. He was term limited from running for state Senate again. So he tried to run for the state House where he used to serve in his old district. Well, when they had a primary in 2024 for that seat, it's the top two move on to the general election.
Okay.
And in his election, there were two candidates who got 34% of the vote each. He got 32% of the vote.
Oh, no.
Which, and as far as I could tell, there was no indication that he did not win or advance in that primary because of what he said about the Satanists. He lost.
Also, I want to be clear, he wasn't voted out. He was term limited out. And
from the Senate.
The Senate.
But she's implying, well, he didn't come back here because of the Satanist thing. So she's lying about that. Now, here's where we're at with this bill in any case. That committee voted in favor of advancing the school board prayer bill 8-4. And it was along party lines, except for one Democrat, State Representative Lydia Hernandez, who did support the bill. But just to be clear, she's very much like one of those cinema-esque Democrats who votes with Republicans on just about everything. Lydia Hernandez is also anti-abortion.
Cool.
Like that sort of Democrat. So it tracks.
Yeah.
And the House Rules Committee in Arizona also has since advanced the bill. I don't know where this goes. I think Arizona has Republican majorities in the House and the Senate, but the governor is Katie Hobbs. My fear is like, man, I hope she's like not thinking it's an election year, so I should let this one go. But
Katie Hobbs
she's a Democrat. I don't know if she's gonna, I would hope she's vetoing this if it passes. But anyway, it's disturbing to see a bill like this make its way through the process at all.
Golly, like there's nothing else going on in the world. And this is what they have to focus on.
Yeah.
Jeez,
all right.
Louise.
I'm jumping to a different story here.
Okay.
Let's go to Maryland.
Ooh.
And this is
crap.
This story ends in the funniest possible way.
Yay!
But it starts out bad. Okay. There is a county, it's called Wicomico. I think I'm pronouncing that one right. It looks like Wico on paper, but it's Wicomico. Everyone who lives there got very mad at me.
Everybody loves to dog on Habit for mispronouncing like city and county names, and it brings me no small amount of joy.
So when they had the county council had a meeting in mid-September, it was like the day or two after Charlie Kirk was murdered. And one of the council members, James Wynn, he used some of his time when he was allowed to just speak to the public to address that incident. It had happened, I guess, a week prior. But he said, as he was talking, he ended up giving like a 10-minute sermon that involved whipping out a Bible and insisting to the crowd, there is only one way, and that is through Jesus Christ. Like, okay, I guess legally you're allowed to do this.
Kirk was religious, so...
I think he's saying that's the lesson we should take from his life. Find Jesus.
And then you'll get shot, and then everybody will be happy you're dead?
Man, I don't know. So
I don't like that. I don't think that's a good thing to tell people. Okay.
Along the way, he also, one of the other things he said during his sermon was that, he was trying to argue we got to come together as one. All this divisiveness over Charlie Kirk, we got to come together. After 9/11, quote, we saw a huge coming together of people, families, people loving on each other.
Trying to murder brown people in the street.
I know. He's ignoring the rampant bigotry against brown people, Muslims specifically. But then he insisted Charlie Kirk was a hero because he put God first. He put the Bible first. He put Christ first in everything. First. Okay. So what did that have to do with the city's business, the county's business? Nothing. It was a waste of everyone's time. It was completely inappropriate. And I think if he talked about anything other than Christianity, everyone would know that.
Yeah.
But that's what this guy did. None of the other council members said anything to stop him or say, okay, well, rebuttal.
Counterpoint, no.
Whatever. He only stopped talking in the sermon after a member in the audience basically stood up after 6-7 minutes of this and was like, what are you like? I think she yelled out something like, and I couldn't hear because she doesn't have a microphone.
Sure.
But you could kind of hear what we're seeing in government right now in the White House is not love. It's not love, and it's not the way Jesus talked.
Correct.
And she walks out of the room.
Good for her.
But here's the thing. The preaching didn't really stop there because it turns out at this county council, they open all of their meetings with a recitation of the Lord's Prayer. Not just an invocation, but a very specific prayer. It's on the public agenda.
Is that the Our Father one?
Yeah, I think so. Like it's on the agenda every week. The city council does it. They do not open the doors to non-Christians to deliver an invocation.
Of course not.
They just do the Christian one every time.
Yeah.
And so because of the publicity Wynn got for his sermon about Kirk, word got back to the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Not that he said all that stupid stuff.
But the prayer?
The prayer is at this meeting. So they write a letter saying, you can't have the prayer. Also, what that dude did is totally inappropriate.
Yeah, but is that all in one letter?
Yes. They're like...
P.S. That dude was fucked up.
They basically said you have no legal right to impose your religion on people through the invocation.
Yeah.
But also... this is completely inappropriate to use your county council meetings to proselytize. Ugh. And they also said that because you have these in Lord's Prayer as your invocations, you could be sued over all this.
And it just so happens we have lawyers who work here.
And then they sent some follow-up letters in the weeks and months to come. And at the very end of December, the council responded to FFRF basically saying this: after consideration of the issues raised, the Wicomico County Council has determined that beginning in calendar year 2026,
this year,
it will discontinue the recitation of the Lord's Prayer as part of the council's meeting agenda.
Oh boy.
This decision was made after consultation with legal counsel. So their lawyers were like, yeah, they're totally right about all of this.
Yeah, because they're good lawyers who know the law.
Yeah. And then a couple weeks later, so January 14th, they issued a formal press release about this. Basically, I think they were just trying to save face. They're like, don't be mad at us. We're just trying to do what our lawyers said.
Save face to the Christians of the community who are upset?
Yes.
Got it.
And this is what they included in their press release. Legal counsel advised that any challenge to this precedent of the Lord's Prayer would likely require litigation through the U.S. Supreme Court level with no reasonable expectation of success in the Maryland courts or the Fourth Circuit. The issue arose after a council member read scripture from a Bible during council comments at a legislative meeting, which prompted outside legal action. ... After weeks of legal review and discussion, the council president determined there were no viable alternatives that would not expose the county to significant legal risk and expense.
Oh my God. So they've learned their lesson finally after 15 years of this?
This idiot on the council is like,
oh my God,
Charlie
he
Kirk
drew
died.
their fire.
Because he decided to preach about Charlie Kirk, gets everyone's attention about what this county is doing. He ruins it for the rest of them because they were getting away with this for such a long time.
God, there's always one that just can't keep their fucking mouth shut.
Yes.
Truly.
Yes. And a county executive, her name is Julie Giordano. She was so mad about that press release.
Of Giordano's Pizza?
Sure. She said, we bent the knee for one person at the expense of 104,000 people. I don't think we would have been sued.
Bent the knee? Ma'am, you're in the Maryland State Council. Yeah. Calm down.
Also, for one person, who? The lady who yelled at the guy about the Charlie Kirk sermon? Or the FFRF lawyer? Or like, who are you talking about? I don't know.
That's a good question. But who did she mean?
But you're talking about 104,000 people liked what we were doing. No, they didn't.
Did you ask them?
Do you think anyone pays attention to what city council or county council is doing?
Listen, there was
I assure you in Maryland, in blue state Maryland, there's going to be a lot of people who don't.
There was a time in my life that I didn't have to know how any state council or local councils worked. I didn't know how school boards worked, and it was a happier time, a simpler time for me.
And listen, if this county doesn't think they'll be sued,
girl,
go for it. You go do this.
Girl, read a book. Wow.
Yeah.
What
I love that this dude brought this
nerd
upon.
Ruined it for everybody. I am so happy about that. That's great news. Congratulations, Maryland. Right. You did it.
All right, I'm going to jump to a different story in Oregon this time.
Okay.
And it's along similar lines here. We're talking about another county council here, but this is in Eugene, Oregon. The Lane County Board of Commissioners, earlier this month, beginning of January, basically their chair of their board, his name is David Lovell, he delivered a state of the county address. Basically, that's one of those speeches that's totally skippable for everybody else. Yeah. But it's like, here's what we've been up to this past year.
State of the Union, but smaller scale.
Right. So no one's watching. No. But it's very much a here's what we've accomplished. Here are the challenges ahead.
Did Trump do a State of the Union?
It's coming.
Is it?
I thought they were in January. Mid-February or something. Anyway. This guy gives his speech, and it's supposed to be a boring, forgettable. If you want it to be cute, fine, but like it should be forgettable. And it should be low key. But this particular speech got the attention of a few people who wrote to their local newspaper about it because they were very upset about it. And we actually have clips of this. And if you're watching this on video, we are going to play clip D in just a moment.
You guys, I'm a producer
letter
now.
Codes here now.
Yeah, I know.
But
this
basically,
is real big.
And you'll hear this if you're listening on the podcast. But when he opened his speech, one of the first things he said is that, all of us, we were not elected by the people, really.
No, we were elected by God, probably.
Appointed here by God. Go ahead and play that clip.
All right.
This is also time for contemplation, future focus, and respect for what we have and whom we serve, and the higher calling and the higher power that appointed us for all of the callings we find ourselves in at this season.
And what he said there is that, there's a higher calling and a higher power that appointed us to all the callings we find ourselves in here. A few minutes later, right after that, he gives the microphone to a friend of his. The guy's name is Chris Cerullo, because he is a, quote, international missionary. So I felt strongly his voice would matter here. And this is clip E. And this guy basically offers an invocation of sorts, but it wasn't even inspirational. He's basically making a plea or a threat, depending on how you want to take it, telling everyone to find Jesus or else. And this is a slightly longer clip, but listen to what this guy says at the meeting.
All right.
So I plead, Father, open the eyes and the ears of those listening who are not yet surrendered, and help them to see and hear the truth for the first time ever, and to respond with full surrender, so they too can walk in the blessing of the Creator rather than the eternal pain for their sins. You loved us enough to allow us to choose freely. And the brokenness in our city, county, state, country, and the world is our fault.
What state are we in?
Oregon.
Come and heal Lane County, one heart at a time. You are Lord of all, including Lane County. And in the end, every knee will bow and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. But for some, it will be too late. I just pray that the people of Lane County don't wait. All praise, honor, and glory are yours, and yours alone. We ask all of this in Jesus' name. Wow. Amen.
So in that invocation,
I've been to Catholic weddings that were less on the nose than that.
Yeah. Hey, God, open the eyes and the ears of those listening who are
Before
not
it's
yet
too
surrendered
late.
and help them see and hear the truth for the first time ever and to respond with full surrender. And then he blamed the brokenness in the city, county, state, country, and the world.
Yeah, Oregon.
It's
famously.
our fault, he said. So come and heal us one heart at a time. And then he said, in the end, every knee will bow, every tongue will confess that Christ is Lord. But for some, it'll be too late.
I have kind of a dumb question.
Yes.
Is bend the knee, does that predate Game of Thrones? Because I feel like that's the first time I heard it. Okay. Because I'm like, are these nerds fucking like...
Are they all
co-opting?
referencing Game of Thrones? No, that's a phrase that's been around for a while.
This guy was not kidding around. That wasn't even like kind of related to government.
Right. And in no way was that inspiring to anybody, including plenty of people, I assume, who are Christian.
When he says broken, what do you think he means?
Well, they have gay people in Oregon now.
Like, genuinely, is that what you think he means? Or is he like
knows?
blaming? This is like always what I'm curious about is like, are they saying like,
kids are getting educated some places and he's very upset?
Well, no, are they saying that like, oh, the fact that there is a homeless population, the fact that like there's hungry people, that is all because of you guys. Or is it there's gay people and people who use they, them pronouns, and that's the bad thing?
That's almost the thing that gets them worked up more than anything else. It's not the hungry.
I don't think Jesus
guys like
talked
this,
a
I
lot
should
about
say.
pronouns.
There are plenty of churches that try to help the poor. This guy, the way he talks, I'm not getting that vibe.
No.
Needless to say, those of us
more
who
of
are
a
not
fire and
Christian,
brimstone.
and I've heard there are a few of those in Oregon,
In Oregon?
have our eyes and ears open just fine. We're doing just fine with the truth. We don't need to surrender to
God.
anybody. So why is that guy part of the
Wow.
State of the County address?
Well, more
Totally
importantly, why
inappropriate.
does he think that that's an okay thing to like? What was the context of this again?
It's, hey, my buddy, come up here. Tell us some words of inspiration for the State of the County address.
Wow,
And that's what he said. But wait, we're not done, because at the end of the address, Lovell, the chair of the commission, is like, hey, there's a pastor at New Hope Christian College and chaplain of the sheriff's office. His name is Guy Higashi. Can you come up here and give invocation number 2?
There's more.
Because we need more God. And this dude tells everyone to bow their head in prayer in the audience, which is like,
Incorrect.
I'll do what I want, but play the clip F.
All right.
And that's Higashi talking about this stuff.
In a spiritual context, for me, being a chaplain and a pastor, my true north is Jesus and the kingdom of God. But in business and government, true north serves as a shared guiding purpose to keep teams resilient, moving in the right direction. It's more than a marketing slogan. It's living a culture that drives our every decision. And so with that in mind, I know for myself, I have a guiding principle of a true north. Will you bow your heads and pray with me?
No, I shan't.
Heavenly Father, I thank you for
it's
the
not
many
most
blessings that you have
egregious
provided
sermon,
us.
But it's still
what
inappropriate
are we
to ask the
doing?
audience to pray because it assumes everyone shares his faith. They don't.
Yeah.
And again, if a Muslim person did any of that stuff, you would know what I'm talking about. So what's interesting about this is there are still some newspapers out there. The Eugene Weekly got letters to the editor expressing concern about that State of the County address. Like one local resident, her name is Karen Myers, she urged people to watch the full speech so they could, quote, see the blatant erosion of the separation of church and state in a public meeting. Mm-hmm. And then she added, I thought I was viewing an evangelical religious service rather than a Lane County government event.
100%.
And then she concludes, what those of us who believe in the separation of church and state can do is vote Lovell out of office in November. Then my prayers will be answered. Well played.
Burn.
And then there was another resident, his name is Thomas, who said this. In his final act as chair, because this guy's stepping down now, in his final act as chair, Commissioner David Lovell made clear his perpetual disregard for the separation of church and state. ... If you think the government's role is to uplift faith and explicitly state that all other faiths are lesser. You should not be in charge of our tax dollars. ... Using your official position to knowingly create a hostile climate for others is what a weak person does. This will be worth remembering in November. So good on them for writing in and saying all of that.
Oh, I love when people don't mince words.
The thing is, Lovell's speech was written in advance. The two pastors knew they were speaking. This is not.
Oh yeah, that guy was reading off his fucking iPhone.
Yeah, like they chose to
First of all,
use.
he couldn't ad lib that thing, like the thing about True North. You couldn't remember that. You're a chaplain, dude. You don't read off your fucking phone in front of the city council.
These guys chose to use their platforms to spread a religious message instead of doing anything useful for the county. I mean, just explicit claims of spiritual authority, moral supremacy. You're all going to hell if you don't agree with me.
Yeah.
In a place where no one was there to hear a sermon. And as far as I can tell, no one in government there has spoken up about this. No one has no one's defending religious pluralism, which suggests to me everyone seems fine with it.
Yeah, Eugene is a pretty big municipality. It's not tiny.
Think so unless people speak out, no one's going to stop this stuff, which makes me think they're just going to keep doing it unless someone does.
Well, if it's if it's crossed your desk, I'm sure there's other people, you know what I mean?
I would hope.
Looking into it, but wow.
Let me jump to a different story, a much more disturbing.
Wait, first, I just want to celebrate how well those clips went. I have spent hours and hours and hours on the phone with support. I've worked very hard.
We'll see if it works when I post it.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
Okay. This is a move that's going to harm the dumbest Americans among us. Basically, this week,
Republicans?
The head... There you go. Here is RFK Jr., Health and Human Services Secretary. He has a Republican-backed advisory committee on immunization practices. Basically, he's like, I'm not just making up what we should do about vaccines. I asked my advisory board what we should do. Well, guess what? The head of that committee, the advisory committee, said on a podcast this week that vaccines to fight polio and measles, they ought to be optional.
Polio?
Yeah. The guy's name is Dr. Kirk Milhoan, and he said the right to refuse vaccines is more important than a mandate to protect private health, to protect public health. Here's what he actually said on this podcast. And this is a paraphrase from Stat, a health news focused website.
Okay.
In the case of an infectious disease, a personal choice to decline a vaccine may also affect others, including infants who are too young to be vaccinated or people who are immunocompromised. But a person's right to reject a vaccine supersedes those risks, Dr. Milhoan said. If there's no choice, then informed consent is an illusion. Without consent, it is medical battery.
Medical battery.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen those pictures from the 1910s or so when polio was ravaging?
I think it's later than 10.
Is it later than 10?
It's like 1940 or 50 where you see people in iron lungs
in the iron
and all
lungs.
of that. Mitch McConnell famously had polio.
What?
And I think, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, and he survived
Did my voice sound like I knew?
He ought to be the first one in line saying we should do vaccines. Vaccines are good.
We had a president who was in a wheelchair because of polio.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about?
The one who started the March of Dimes to help eradicate the disease.
Oh my God.
To make sense of this decision, who's this guy saying, we don't really need the vaccine? It helps to know who this guy is and why he's on this panel at all. Because, he is a doctor. He did go to med school. Fine. That's why Republicans can get away with promoting him. He is, but his day job, day job is evangelical pastor with a long history of promoting misinformation. This guy is a pediatric cardiologist.
Sorry.
I just murdered Jessica.
Oh my God.
He's a pediatric cardiologist. However, that's a specific, that is a specialty where you got to have expertise. But this is very much like a Herman Cain.
It's not immunology, though.
Herman Cain, was it Herman Cain? No, I'm sorry. Doctor, who am I thinking of?
Carson.
Yeah, Ben Carson, where he's a great surgeon. Dr. Oz, I've heard, was a great surgeon. Doesn't mean they're experts in all things medicine.
So Ben Carson, didn't he make him the HUD secretary because he's black?
Yes.
Which is still one of the funniest things that's ever happened.
Yes. But this guy's a pediatric cardiologist. He is not a vaccine expert necessarily.
No, those are different.
Those are very different
specialties.
fields. And critics have known that ever since this dude first became famous. Why did he become famous? Because during COVID, he promoted the use of hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin, which have no science backing them as cures for COVID.
Honestly, you guys, the ivermectin thing, again, I think I said this last week, but as a horse girl, there's ivermectin everywhere, and it's just so weird to be like, this thing that I'm trying to get this stupid horse to eat, is somebody's going to eat it? Like, what are we doing?
Yes.
It's horse shit. Like, it's horse dewormer.
Yes. He also, Milhone, he falsely claimed COVID causes cancer and miscarriages.
COVID does, or the COVID vaccine?
COVID vaccine does.
Okay.
And he also said if you have to carry around that index card, that record of when you got your COVID shots.
I forgot about those.
That is akin to, quote, what happened when the Jews had to wear the yellow Star of David during the Holocaust.
Are you sure? Or is it more like the Gestapo invading Minneapolis and pulling people out of their homes?
He doesn't know what you're talking about.
Which one of those is more Nazi-like, would you say?
During the worst months of the pandemic, this guy said that members of his church in South Maui, because he's from Hawaii, they do not need to wear masks or practice social distancing.
White dudes from Hawaii make me uncomfortable.
And then he did, like, people were so upset with what he was saying about COVID and social distancing that, like, whatever formal process there is to revoke someone's medical license, like, it was initiated.
Really?
But he did not lose his medical license over this. He was cleared of wrongdoing by some Hawaiian state agency.
Interesting.
But that shouldn't be mistaken as proof that he knows what he's talking about. And in 2024,
you mean the fact that he's still a doctor and wasn't stripped of his license isn't really a shining beacon of integrity and intelligence.
Right. And in 2024, Marjorie Taylor Greene, like, basically initiated a hearing on COVID vaccine injuries. And this guy participated in that panel. And he said he advocated against vaccinating kids, saying that the COVID vaccine had triggered cardiac problems in some pediatric patients he had seen.
Oh, I would love. I'm sorry, is he still seeing patients?
He might be. So all of this, he was on a show, which I think, I don't know it well. I think the people hosting this podcast about medicine are legit, but he was on that podcast. It's called Why Should I Trust You? Where they invite people who do health policy issues. And he offered plenty of reasons why he cannot be trusted. He argued that requiring kids to be vaccinated in order to go to a public school, he called it heavy-handed and authoritarian, even though those vaccines protect the lives of not just the kids getting vaccinated, but their classmates and their teachers. As Stat reported, Milhone also pushed the idea that individuals should be making their own vaccine decisions rather than listening to doctors or, experts.
Yeah.
Here's what he actually said. At one point,
vibes-based medicine, that's what we're looking for.
At one point, Milhone accused the American Academy of Pediatrics, which is suing the Department of Health and Human Services over its vaccine policies, of claiming their members don't have time to adequately inform patients. Quote, patients should be making the decisions on what the risks are of disease, what the risks are of vaccines, which is different for each person, what the family history is, and then make a decision from there, as opposed to what was sort of a heavy-handed authoritarian thought of the vaccine schedule that led to mandates that if you didn't have this set of vaccines exactly how they were prescribed, then you didn't get in school.
So I think the lesson that we're going to have to learn time and time again is that no amount of death or destruction, dismemberment is going to change anybody's mind who's already in this headspace. Because, I mean, I think it started with the Sandy Hook thing of like, oh, if you don't care about a dozen kids or however many kids died that day, then I'm not sure what to tell you.
On guns.
With Renee Good, and now with the what's his name, Pretty?
Yeah, Alex Pretty.
Yeah, that's what you have. How many kids? At least 3 kids I know have died of whooping cough last year, and I think that's what sort of we have to. I guess, harden ourselves and just accept that these people do not care who lives or dies. They want power.
And this is happening at a time when both Texas and South Carolina are having massive measles outbreaks in their states. And by the way, this idea that parents know what's best when it comes to disease and risk. No, most parents, and I'm not even saying this derogatorily, most parents do not know any of this stuff. Why would they know medicine specifics? It's not their job. We've talked about this before when it comes to homeschooling. Mm-hmm. I have a master's degree. My partner has a grad school degree. Mm-hmm. We don't feel qualified to homeschool. No. We send our kids to public school.
Yeah.
And yet, we talk about this when we talk about homeschooling a lot. The parents who know the least are the ones who feel most qualified and confident to do it. But when it comes to medical risk, why would random parents know what risk is acceptable? They don't know how vaccines work.
Because people, listen, I, like everybody in the country, has been watching Traitors. And if there's anything I have learned from that stupid, terrible show, is that nobody fucking knows anything. And that doesn't stop them from having a really strong opinion. And truly, it feels like such a microcosm of just everybody's like, oh, I kind of got a weird vibe off Hemant. And then all of a sudden everybody's like witch hunting after Hemant. And they're the most confident people in the world. They're screaming through the house, so-and-so's a traitor, with no evidence and no reason to know what they're doing.
The word is out there.
But they're being proved wrong every single time. And like, that's this. This is parents saying, oh, my instinct is what I do to keep my kid alive. Well, I'm sorry, that's nothing.
Right.
Like, the infant mortality rate used to be so much higher than it is now. And that's all they had. All they had was vibes-based medicine. You know what I mean? Like, it's just such a stupid... It is always overstating how smart you think you are.
Is stupid. No, you don't. Not on everything. And on issues where experts are needed. Guess what this guy said? When it comes to public health decision-making, he said, and I quote, "I don't like established science." And then he added, quote, "What? Science is what I observe." That's
not what science is.
This doctor is like, I got some anecdotes. So, who cares what other experts
think? I can't wait to read his paper when it gets published in the National Journal Review or whatever.
At National Enquirer.
Thank you.
But like when he was asked about his thoughts on polio and measles vaccines specifically, this guy was like, I don't know if they're both necessary.
What about germ theory? He can't see germs.
Don't ask me if he washes his hands before performing anything. But like for 40 years, they've been trying to eradicate polio, which is still widespread in Pakistan, Afghanistan, and now parts of the U.S.
Cool.
And he said, I think also...
Proud company that we're in.
Here's what he said in response to all that. I think also, as you look at polio, we need to not be afraid to consider that we are in a different time now than we were then. Our sanitation is different. Our risk of disease is different. And so those all play into the evaluation of whether this is worthwhile of taking a risk for a vaccine or not.
What the fuck did you just say to me?
It's a very we eat differently now.
Like, is he implying that polio won't spread because we wash our hands?
Something like that.
At first, I thought he was going to say
essentially what he's getting at.
If people do get polio, we can...
They were dirtier years ago. We're not as dirty now, so you probably don't need to get vaccinated, is what he's...
at least going to say, well, if we do get polio, we now have better medicine so we can cure it. And you know what they say, a pound of cure is worth an ounce of prevention or whatever.
But when Stat asked the American Academy of Pediatrics, the chair of their infectious disease committee, his name is Dr. Sean O'Leary. Hey, what do you think about what this dude said in the podcast? Sean O'Leary responded, and I quote, "He has no idea what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. These vaccines protect children and save lives. Yep. It's very frustrating for those of us who spend our careers trying to do what we can to improve the health of children to see harm coming to children because of an ideological agenda not grounded in science."
Yeah, that's better than anything I could have said.
But who's appointed to the vaccine committee by this administration?
My new friend Sean O'Leary?
Not Sean O'Leary.
Oh, boy.
So... they haven't acted on this yet. I know RFK has talked about we should change the vaccine schedule so kids are not going to get vaccinated the way they should be. And this guy's saying, I don't know if we need them at all. We shouldn't force public schools to require them. Like, if this guy gets his way, kids will die because Republicans are pro-life.
How many people I know are going to die in the next 5 years because of this? Wow, I've never thought about that before. That's pretty upsetting.
So I got one last story for you today.
Oh my God, are we going to end on a terrible note?
Maybe. No, this one, we didn't. I don't think we got around to this one last time, and I wanted to bring it up. This one is in your favorite state, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
There you go. This is State Senator David Bullard, and he is the sponsor of Senate Bill 1868, which would force educators who teach evolution.
Oh boy, teach the controversy.
Also teach students the concepts of creationism and or intelligent design. Basically, you're not allowed to teach evolution unless you do one or the other.
It's so wild because every time this comes up, I always think of Inherit the Wind. Inherit the Wind, which is at this point, what, a 60-year-old movie? And it was made about a thing that happened like 60 years before, and we're still having the same fucking conversations. Like Gene Kelly was a young man when he was in Inherit the Wind.
Happy Darwin Day. The bill, soon, couple weeks. The bill also goes on to prohibit school districts from punishing any teacher who discusses, quote, the scientific strengths and weaknesses of biological evolution, creationism, or intelligent design.
Oh, sorry. They split up creationism and intelligent design, or those different scientific concepts.
Right. Which, by the way, that part right there is nothing more than permission for Christian teachers to pretend evolution is not valid, but they can't get punished for it if they say it.
Yeah.
So this bill is so unscientific and so illegal that there's a good chance even Oklahoma Republicans won't take it seriously. And the reason I can say that is because he's been trying this shit for years.
Wow.
And not just evolution stuff, but he has filed bills to put 10 Commandments monuments in and out of the Capitol building.
Oh, both?
He wants to force children to learn about America's Christian heritage. He promoted the idea of pushing the Bible directly in school, like to have teachers teach kids about the Bible, not as an elective.
Which version?
But then he added, but I don't want some pink-haired person who doesn't believe in God to start trying to teach the Bible.
First of all, my hair was green.
So, like, none of those bills passed.
Of course.
And he has apparently tried...
Wait, was the pink hair thing written into the
nope, that's
bill?
Just
because
him riffing.
I would love that.
Just riffing on it. But basically, the reason this is not legal is... Oh, one other thing he mentioned in a press release he put out about this. He said, and I quote, "For decades, we have taught fiction as fact and forced the theory of evolution on our kids. That ends now. Senate Bill 1868 fixes this problem by putting both evolution and creationism in the classroom for students to learn. Even he knows intelligent design is nothing more than a cover." And then he added, "Either we teach both ideas or we allow parents to teach their kids this important topic. We must also stop this indoctrination of our kids using a theory that even its creator openly doubted."
Hey, could you go back and read the thing about the parents? Because what?
Yeah, let parents teach their kids this important topic. So
you
can't. He's saying parents can't teach it. If you don't allow this bill to pass, then we shouldn't talk about evolution at all. Let parents teach their kids.
Well, he needs an editor, because what I read that as is if we can't teach creationism in the classroom, the parents are going to have to teach it. And that's kind of the point we're trying to make.
No, he's saying if you can't teach creationism in the classroom, then my bill would not allow you to teach evolution either.
Cool.
Now, this idea at the end that its creator openly
get rid
doubted.
Of biology class?
Charles Darwin expressed, like, if this doesn't pan out in a certain way, maybe my theory doesn't work. There are ways to disprove it.
Yeah.
And he basically openly admitted he doesn't have total confirmation of his theory in the 1850s. But who the hell cares? Because the mountains of evidence over the past nearly 200 years show, he was basically right on the big stuff.
Yeah. And also it was predictive. That's what the important, I think that's what people kind of forget about, like, what makes a theory is that you have to be able to make some sort of prediction. And Darwin's was, I can't remember which way it was, but he found a flower and he's like, I think I'm going to find a bird that has this shaped beak because I think that beak will have adapted to the flower. And lo and behold, he found that. And, like, obviously that's one example, but it is a prediction that he made that came true.
And again,
what are
the
creationists
specifics.
bringing to the table that they're going to teach about?
Right.
How are you using that to shape your
By
view?
the way, unrelated,
Yeah.
Ark Encounter, we now know its attendance numbers for all of 2025.
Oh my God, we're back. Oh my God, it's 10 years ago and I'm back.
Not only, I mean, they had a COVID slump like all the
Yeah.
amusement parks did. They had, not only have they not recovered like whatever trend they thought they were on, they had one of their worst years in history ever since it like opened.
Really?
Yeah. People are not going there as much as they used to.
I don't know if you guys remember, but back in like 2017-ish when we started doing this podcast like this, like a news breakdown, Hemet was obsessed
Not
with
only
the
am I
Ark
still
Encounter
obsessed.
and the numbers and the prices and this, and he made me sit and listen to him
Damn
talk
right.
about.
I still keep the spreadsheet. And by the way, Dan, there's a geologist, Dan Phelps in Kentucky, who keeps track of all this, gets the public records on all this. And some of the things that are interesting, not only do they have the lowest attendance that they've gotten and a potential measles outbreak, as we discussed not that long ago,
yeah.
but also it seems like a couple years ago, or maybe a year ago, Ken Ham hired somebody to be his successor and take over the whole business because he's old.
Sure.
And that guy was later like quietly fired.
What did he do? What did he do?
Nobody knows why.
Ooh.
But everything Answers in Genesis has been putting out for the past several months.
Yeah.
It's all Ken Ham. It is not even anyone else who works there. Like,
So
this is a dying cult that has one guy at the top, and there's no inkling that there's a succession plan anymore. It's wild. Anyway, back to this bill.
Yep.
Back to this bill. In the past, the National Center for Science Education pointed out this guy has tried to pass similar anti-evolution bills in 2019 and 2021 and 2024. None of those bills even got through committee.
I mean, he's got persistence. You got to give him that.
He's got nothing else going for him.
Apparently.
But again, creationism hasn't been allowed in school since 1987 when the Supreme Court knocked it down. Intelligent design hasn't been allowed in school since an federal district judge said so in 2005. And all the euphemisms, strengths and weaknesses, teach the controversy, those haven't gone anywhere either. So for that reason, this isn't going to go anywhere because it's illegal immediately.
Is there still an appetite for that, do you think? I feel like the evolution thing is kind of played out.
I mean, all the intelligent design organizations that exist, the Discovery Institute, places like that, they don't leave a mark anywhere.
They don't.
They exist.
And it feels like a lot of them like shifted their focus from evolution to just sort of general social justice, like anti-trans shit.
Yeah.
Like maybe I think it's
Discovery Institute still puts out intelligent design stuff, but one's listening.
But are they trying? This guy is obviously trying to get that into schools. Is that it doesn't feel like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it was all over the place. That was all I wrote about when I started writing. Here was this and Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
But I guess there's no appetite for it anymore.
Possibly.
I just think other things are pulling focus. I think they really might have to call an L on that one. I don't think they're going to win that.
They're trying. We'll see. Let's stop there for now. What are we going to talk about in the bonus? I want to talk about an interview I saw that I think will interest atheists who listen to this type of podcast.
Oh, cool. I actually want to talk about an interview I'm going to do soon. I still want to talk about Heat and Rivalry. Sorry, that's my personality now. This is who
3
I
weeks
am.
running?
No, it's only 2, and I've watched it multiple times since then. I'm not embarrassed. I am pretty embarrassed. And
if you want to leave reviews, go do that in whatever you get your podcasts from. You can support this show by going to patreon.com/friendlyatheistpodcast, friendlyatheistpodcast@gmail.com if you have tips or ideas or comments or anything nice to say.
No new comments, but I will say on Monday this past week, I mailed the last of the stickers out. It's genuinely taken me months because a roll of stickers is set like $80. And then I had to pay for it was just a lot. And it's my fault because I didn't do it as often as I can, but they're all out. So if I reached out to a few people that it bounced back. So check your Patreon to see if I need an updated address. And if you didn't get one by like next week, go ahead and shoot me a message and I will get one over to you once I reorder more stickers because I'm out of those as well.
Excellent.
I want to talk about a little bit about heated rivalry. My friend who is expecting, she's 30 weeks pregnant, and this is all we talk about now. But yeah, we'll do that. You can email us. I think those are all I'm going to start pulling clips from this and posting them online. If anybody has any particular clips that I think would be good, like 90-second bites, I would appreciate your help because I black out while I record this.
There you go. All right. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.